In this video, I want to share 5 things that I really don't like about ActiveCampaign. But before we dive in, I don't want you to get the wrong impression. I really like ActiveCampaign, and I also made another video about the 5 things that I love about ActiveCampaign. So also be sure to check out that video after this one. You can find that one in the description below. So number 5, and it is the what you see is what you get email editor. So that is this editor over here. So it's like, yeah, what you see is what you get. So you just build things over here. You can like drag an image inside it. You can add buttons to it or something. You can even add like a video preview. I think it's like some kind of GIF then. You can add a line break, space, and all kinds of things. And it works great somehow. It's like, it looks nice that you can do this, but I found it to be a little bit buggy sometimes. So sometimes suddenly it would change the font after I sent out the email, or it would change the font size, or suddenly there would be weird white spaces in between the emails, or when I would copy a text and then paste it in here, then it would copy the markup from my Word document, something like that, and then it would break personalization tags. So really not so great. Like, I think it is a great builder. It's like nice that you can build all these things without any programming knowledge, but it's a little bit annoying that you really have to triple check to see if really everything is really working right, because I had so often that even after double checking, then still something went wrong somewhere, and I find that a little bit annoying with the what you see is what you get builder in ActiveCampaign. So as a solution for myself now, I'm using the HTML email editor, but I understand that this is definitely not for everyone. So if you don't want to do that, you can still use the what you see is what you get builder, but just be sure to really check if everything is working well, and especially be careful with copying text from another document inside the what you see is what you get builder. Number 4, and it is reports. So I think it's really important that with a tool like ActiveCampaign that you can really track how your automations are performing, and then especially also that you can track where people are starting to drop off in your funnel. And as far as I have this understanding with reports inside ActiveCampaign, it's not really possible, at least not so easy. It's really more for like seeing like, okay, how is this email performing? How is this campaign performing? How is this goal inside an automation performing? But not like one big overview of how a certain funnel is really performing. So let me show you what I mean. So over here, you for example have a list of the campaigns that you've sent, and then you can also see the open and click-through rates. So yeah, that's quite okay. And then over here you have all automations. So this always takes super long to load, and then in the end you get a list of all your automations with how many people have entered that. And then over here, this is a list of all your goals. So I think this is pretty cool. I think they could maybe have also helped a little bit here with which goal is in which automation, because you see that I have some goals that have similar names, but then they're in different automations. And then I first have to go over to that goal to actually see where it belongs. But this is pretty cool. So I could, for example, here I have a goal purchased offer. So this is when somebody's purchased a course after they have been in this automation. And then you can see this over here. And I think this is really maybe quite great. So over here, then you see that I have an 11% completion rate. So that means that 11% of everyone going in this free bot course automation is ending up with actually purchasing that product. So that's great. Then over here, you can also see if there is a decrease or increase in the last 30 days compared to the period before it. So right now it's at 0. This automation is not now archived, so nothing happening. And then over here, you also see how long it takes people on average to complete that goal. So this is actually a free course that people can follow as fast as they want. And then you see over here, it takes 7.8 hours in total for people to do that. So I think that's really cool information. But then that's it basically. Then here, if you want, you can filter all the contacts based on complete or incomplete. But not much else data that I can get out of this over here. Now then over here we have contact reports. It's just about how fast your email list is growing, your top contacts, open and retrans, maybe interesting to see. Then over here, for example, for me, you see that most people are opening on a Thursday. And then if you want, you can also split this by a certain list or by a tag. And I think it's pretty cool also. Like, I like this, but it would also be nicer if you could maybe make a combination of multiple tags, or maybe also include some custom fields, because I do my segmentation inside custom fields. So I have the feeling like it is cool, but it could have been a little bit better maybe. Yeah, I'm not sure. Now, email client trends, like also okay, cool. So here, for example, you see that everyone almost is using Gmail for me. I'm quite surprised by that. Then yeah, nearby contacts, tech trends. Then this custom reports, I thought maybe promising, but I looked and the custom reports are only available on the enterprise plan, so the most expensive plan. And then you can create some different kind of graphs. I looked a little bit into it, but it looked quite complicated, and I'm then still not sure if it's doing what I wanted to do. If I'm wrong, then let me know in the comments below. But yeah, this is basically the reporting inside ActiveCampaign, and it's okay for like tracking little things like, hey, how did this one email perform? How did this goal inside an automation perform? But not like a complete like funnel graph of how the actual funnel is performing. So myself, I'm using a tool called Mixpanel for this. And I connected this basically with ActiveCampaign. So ActiveCampaign is sending all the events, so all the email opens, all the clicks, every tag that gets added, custom fields that get updated, will be sent over to Mixpanel. And then in Mixpanel, I can generate reports like this. And I think if ActiveCampaign would implement something like this in their tool, I think it would be truly amazing and it would really be a game changer. And I think they would really like, I'm not sure you say that, like beat the competition with reporting, because I also know that with other email service providers, they are quite basic with their reporting. But then over here, I can, for example, see now something basic like, okay, 24 people signed up in the last 30 days for this free email course. And over here, I see like a nice graph of how many that was each day. And then over here, I can also see the first opt-in of that person that signed up for the course. So that's quite cool. So if I, for example, open this, and then go down here, then I can see a list, and then I see like, oh, okay, so this download is most popular, and then people sign up for that course afterwards. So that helps me a bit to understand where people came from. And then this is basically what I would love to see inside ActiveCampaign, if there was some kind of like, yeah, funnel chart that you can make. So over here you see, for example, here, then people signed up, and then people here watched part 1, watched part 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then purchased. And then you see that the overall conversion rate is 4.17%. So I could have a goal inside my automation with like, okay, that they purchased that product, but that will only tell me of how many people purchased compared to how many people signed up, and not really where people actually start to drop off. So here, for example, in the beginning, I see here, this is quite a significant drop. So we went here from 24 people to 9 people, and I'm just testing this. So there's also not so many people going through it. So I'd have to add more people to see how it's really performing. But then I could, for example, see like, oh, okay, so I probably have to do something different there to make sure that after people sign up, they quicker go to the lesson and maybe don't have to wait for an email to get the lesson. So that could be smart. And then over here, I also have some segmentation data of what people are, for example, selling that are following this free course. So all kinds of useful data. And I would love to see this inside ActiveCampaign, and that I do not need a rather complex tool like Mixpanel for this. So yeah, that's just one of the things I also would love to see improved. Number 3, forms. It's like the lifeblood of your email list, right? Like people are going onto your email list, and to come on your email list, they need to fill out a form. So you want to be sure that that form is super duper awesome, that it's as best as it ever could be. And I think the form builder inside ActiveCampaign can also show you is quite nice. It's like also like what you see is what you get. Editors, you have things over here, and then you can also drag things in it. Like you can drag other custom fields in it. You can add a HTML code, a image code, a CAPTCHA code. All quite cool. Also the styling you can change a bit, but the thing I miss most is that there is no A/B testing for the forms. And I know that there's other tools like ConvertBox or Opt-in Monster that I have to say are also like specified on making those forms, but they allow you to A/B test the form itself so that you can really be sure it's really converting as best as possible. So yeah, I would really love to have seen that improved. So the inline form, it is quite cool. Like I use it over here, and then I edit it on this page, and then on the page itself, there's some CSS that is making it look a little bit nicer, but that's just something I wanted to say. And then another thing that I also noticed is when you create your form, you have this option between 4 different form styles. and the inline form is on all the plans, and they ask you to upgrade if you, for example, want to use a model window. And I personally think a model window is something that everybody should be able to use because it's quite an effective tool. So I think it would have been nice if they also included this on the light plan, but that's just my opinion, right? But yeah, so forms, I think there is some improvement there, especially with some kind of like A/B testing or other smart features, maybe like some kind of like segmentation survey. That's also a little bit something that I miss. But yeah, it's just something I wanted to share. And then number 2, no easy A/B testing for subject lines and sender information for emails inside automations. So over here, I have an email inside an automation. And if I go over here to the gear icon, then there's no options to do any kind of A/B testing for the subject line and the sender information. And I think this is really a missed opportunity because this is basically the first thing that people see inside their inbox, right? They see the subject line and from who that email is. So I think it would be really great if we could A/B test that. And what is surprising me most is that this is not possible inside an automation, but it is possible when you send out a one-off campaign. So over here we have campaigns, and then over here you see the split testing type campaign. And then if I go over now to the designer, and then go to this gear icon, then over here you see that we have test 1, test 2, and I could even add more tests. And in those tests, you can experiment with different subject lines and different form information. So over here you see that the subject line is awesome tips. And over here, test 2, subject line, fantastic marketing tips. And this is such a great feature. Imagine having like an automation and each email is being A/B tested with the best possible combination. So this is really great over here. So I really don't get why they didn't do that over here. It is possible to add an A/B test, they call it a split, to your automation. And then you can create path A, you can create path B, and then you can also test different things if you would want to. But then if you would want to split test the sender information or the subject line, you would have to create whole new emails then with different subject lines. And the split feature is also only available on the professional plan. You can see that over here, split automation. So yeah, I think that's really too bad. I would really have loved to be able to A/B test emails in automations like we can do over here in campaigns. Number 1, it is sometimes so slow. I really have like a radar fast internet connection, as you can see over here, but still it's taking quite long for things to happen inside ActiveCampaign. So right now I'm in the dashboard, and imagine I want to go over to the automations. Okay, it's loading a bit. Okay, that took maybe like a second, 2 seconds. Then I would want to go over to an automation. Okay, so now it's loading, it's loading, it's loading, it's loading. Okay, now it's almost loaded, it loaded. Okay, now I want to change an email. So I'll click edit. And then it's taking a few seconds again before this is loaded. And right now it's still going really quick. I have times that I sometimes have to wait 5 seconds, 10 seconds. And I don't know, maybe I'm a little bit spoiled, but sometimes I'm working on these automations for quite long and then I have to wait and I have to wait and I have to wait. And I just think it can be a little bit annoying sometimes. Also, when you want to change one of these conditions, then I would want to change this. I would want to add a condition. And then over here, I would, for example, say, I don't know, has opened. And then we change this to an email campaign and I click save, and then it's loading, it's loading, it's loading. And I just don't think it's so snappy as I would have loved it to. I'm using some other tools, for example, Integromat. Like, it's like not an email service provider, but that's like all instant. It's going so fast, going so fast. And I really think that this automation builder, like, I really love it. I think it's really great, but it's really a bit slow, and I'm not sure why that is. But I often have the feeling I'm waiting and waiting and waiting. So also often in my ActiveCampaign tutorials, I'm speeding up like those little wait actions, because otherwise you would just see in the video and I will just be sitting here like this. And then it would just speed it up like 2-3 seconds. But so yeah, right now it went really fast, but sometimes I really have that it's like I'm editing something and I'm just waiting for like 10 seconds before something loads. So yeah, I think this could definitely be improved. That's really, I think, the thing I like least about ActiveCampaign, maybe, that when I'm working in it, it's a little bit frustrating sometimes because it's just waiting and waiting and waiting. But these are the 5 things that I hate most about ActiveCampaign, and it's really all not that bad. In general, I really love ActiveCampaign. So if you check out this video over here, then you can also see the 5 things that I love most about ActiveCampaign.